Alright, I'm going to go over this Demo 29 from my library book. What I've got here is 29.html in Notepad++, and I have these really narrow because I want to show my styles for the page first, next to the page, and then the output over here in the browser. And then I'm going to get rid of the style CSS and just focus on the HTML and the JavaScript. So I've got three different files here, 29.html here, and then behind that in this next tab is 29.js for the JavaScript for the functionality, and then over here, actually in the middle, style.css is the styling that gives us the various rounded corners, colors, and so on and so forth for the elements in the page. So starting at the top of the page here, not in the JavaScript but the HTML, we start off with our doc type declaration. Then we have the opening HTML tag. All the way at the bottom you've got the closing HTML tag. Then you've got the opening and closing head tags. Inside of that we have a link to this image right here, this smiley that shows in the browser. Link rel equals shortcut icon, href equals smile.ico, type equals image /x icon. The next thing we have is the title tags, and inside the title tags we have demo 29 controlling the length of decimals. Well, all of these demos are not just about controlling the length of decimal. That's just basically talking about I believe the demo 1 and demo 2. Then I get into getting the current date and time, and the yellow one in demo 5 is about error trapping, and we have two functions inside of a function to do that. But back to the title tags, the demo 29 controlling the length of decimals is what shows up here in the browser next to that icon, and if you hover over it you get the tooltip that gives you the entire title, demo 29 controlling the length of decimals. Next we have the link that links the HTML document to the style.css. So this actually links those two separate files. Link rel equals stylesheet, type equals text /css, href equals style.css. And all of these three files are in the same folder. That again links us to this style sheet. Then here's the link to the external JavaScript. Script language equals JavaScript, source equals 29.js, end script. And that links us to this JavaScript file right here that we'll go over last. And there's the end of the head. Okay, so that's everything that's in the head. Let's move down. Here's the opening body tag. All the way at the bottom you see the ending body tag. Then I have a wrapper tag, and then all the way at the bottom I have the ending wrapper tag. Everything's nested. I guess I could. No, I guess I can't. Alright, I have these dots over here to the left because everything that has a blue dot at the left has a corresponding style in the style sheet over here to the right, so I wanted to knock off one at a time. So the first thing that's going to be styled is the body. So if I go look here in my style CSS, look for body, here's the style for the body, which is basically everything that opens up in this browser. Margin 0 pixels auto, padding 0 pixels. The next thing that's styled is the wrapper, which is right here. So I can undo that, I can undo this. The wrapper has this style. Margin of 0 pixels, padding of 10 pixels, width of 94%, float left, min width 700 pixels, border 10 pixels of black solid, background color tan. So this right here, it looks obnoxious, but I gave that a style on purpose so that you would see clearly where that wrapper element is based on the background color of being tan and the border being a thick black solid. Okay, so you see that you have all of these colored strips inside the wrapper. Alright, so that's the style for the wrapper. Now we have something called left. If I click on it, you see the opening left tag and the closing left tag. So let's go down and look for left. Actually, I have left, middle, right, and other. Every tag that has any of those names will get this style. Left, middle, right, or other has a border of thick gray outset. You can't really see it very well. It actually looks thin compared to the black border here for the wrapper, but each one of these colored sections is enclosed in another section that has the tag of either left, middle, right, or other. And it's a faint gray border. But that's considered border thick gray outset. Width is 18%, so each of these sections bordered in gray, as you stretch the page, basically if the page gets that big, you get that same percentage of the width. So if I put it back, percents are good for when you want flexibility no matter what size device or monitor the user's using. So width is 18%, padding is 0 pixels, margin is 0 pixels, float is left, and text align is center. Having a margin of 0 pixels means that each one of these left, middle, right, and other sections butt up directly to each other. Alright, so that's the left. It's also the middle, right, and other. So I'll leave this until I finish showing you the middle, right, and other one as I get to it. Here we have a button with an ID of G. This G is what's being styled, so let's look for that. Here we have IDG, here we have IDB, IDP, IDO, and IDY. But they're all a similar scenario. We've got a button and we're giving it an ID, which is going to let us style the background color. Down here we have a button with the IDB. Further down we have a button with the IDP, and so on and so forth. And basically that's just setting our background color. So for this G, we have a background color of pound 6CB359, and that's a type of green. Border 10 pixels green outset, and minimum height 400 pixels. I don't know if I'm really going to keep a minimum height because some of the notes that I put on each of the buttons have really stretched. So if I take the minimum height off of all of this by z'ing it out, then everything will just expand to what it needs to expand to. And if I reset it, you can see it's only going to be as big as it needs to be. If I want to make these consistent, then I'll have to figure out what the largest height is, which in this case is this yellow one, and when I figure out what that height is, then set the minimum height for the G, B, P, O, and Y, which stands for green, blue, purple, orange, and yellow. Then they'll all be consistent. But I'm not going to do that right now. So there was the green, the idea of green. Like I said, instead of me just erasing this, I z'd it out so that in the future, if I want to change that to have the minimum height, I'll have to do nothing other than take off the Z and change the number here instead of typing it all over again. Alright, now we have a P with an ID of Demo 1 down here. So let's look for Demo 1. Here we have Demo 1, comma, Demo 2, comma, and the pound means ID, Demo 3, comma, Demo 4, comma, Demo 5. So they all share this style. Margin of 0 pixels, padding of 2%, color of white, font size of 20 pixels, text align center. I z'd out the font family, so it's going to use the default. If I want to change that in the future, I take the Z off and I give it whatever font family I want and display none. Then I have a Demo 1, comma, a pound demo for ID demo and a dot demo for class demo. It's a unique style that it only has. And that's a background color of green, a border of 5 pixels of green outset, padding of 0 pixels, color white, and padding of 2%. What that is styling is these little squares down here at the bottom. These are all little paragraph areas, so that when you click the rounded button above, the output shows up either in a pop-up box or down here in this paragraph with its particular ID. This paragraph has the ID of Demo 1, the green and the blue has the P has the ID of Demo 2, the purple ID of Demo 3, Demo 4 gives us a background of orange, and Demo 5 gives us this background of a yellowish color, darker yellow. Okay, so I can get rid of that, get rid of this. Now we have middle. Again, my left I must have already took the dot off. No, here's the middle. I already went over that. So really, left, middle, right, and other, since they all share this style, I can just go here and take the dot off middle, take the dot off of right, because I've already explained the style, the dot off of other, dot off of the other. Button with the ID of B, already really went over all that again. Here's the ID of B, the button. Now we're talking about this button with the blue background. We gave that button an ID of B, and so the style is background color pound 4470B5, which is this light blue, border of 10 pixels, blue outset, and then again I Z'd out the minimum height of 400 pixels because I'm not sure what I want to do with that in the future, if I want to give it a minimum height of not. So there is the ID of B for the button. Now the P has a style of Demo 2. Again, Demo 2 is shared. This was the shared style, and the unique style that Demo 2 has for only itself is this. And again, we're talking about the paragraph down here, the darker blue small rectangle that's going to show the output after we push the button here, after we click it. Background color blue, border 5 pixels, blue outset, padding 0 pixels, color white, and padding 2%. So there's the style for that. Further down, button with the ID of P. There's the ID of P, pound P. That's the button here, this purple button. Background color pound 8E40B6, border 10 pixels, purple outset, and then again a Z'd out minimum height of 400 pixels, which is not being read by the browser because it's misspelled. So there's our button. There's our purple button. Here's our purple paragraph. P ID equals Demo 3. Go up here to the demos. Again, I already went over that all 5 of these demos, this is their shared CSS style, and here's the exclusive style for Demo 3 only. Demo 3, whether it's an ID or a class. And that's talking about the paragraph down here at the bottom, not the button, but the paragraph. PID Demo 3. Background color purple, border 5 pixels, purple outset, padding 0 pixels, color white, padding 2%. So there was that. And we're almost done. Button with the ID of O. Here's our pound O for IDO. This is dealing with our orange button. Background color orange, border 10 pixels, orange outset, and minimum height for 400 pixels is Z'd out. And we just gave it no height at this time. So that's this. Again, the height will stretch as long as you keep adding text here. It'll stretch to however long it needs to be, or the height, whatever the height needs to be to fit whatever text you put on the face of that button. Alright, so there's our button. There's the style for the button. Now the paragraph underneath the button right here. Down here, the darker orange. P with the ID of Demo 4. Let's go back up and find Demo 4. Again, here's the shared style for all of the demos, and here's the unique demo 4 only style. Background color a pound B15202, border 5 pixels, orange outset, padding 0 pixels, color white, padding 2%. So we've done the paragraph down here for the orange button. Then in this other tag we have button with the ID of Y, so that's for this last yellow button. So let's go down here and look at the style for Y. Background color yellow, border 10 pixels, yellow outset, Z min height 400 pixels. If I take that Z off, it'll get the minimum height of 400 pixels. Minimum meaning it's going to still stretch because there's all kinds of text in here, but if I erased all this text off of the face of the button, it would still have a minimum height of 400. It wouldn't get really, really short. Again, I'm going to Z it out because I'm not going to use that right now. Alright, so that was the buttons, the last button style, and the last style for this paragraph area with a demo 5 ID underneath the yellow buttons. Let's look for Y. No, demo 5, I'm sorry, demo 5. And here's demo 5's exclusive style. Background color pound 897200, border 5 pixels, yellow outset, padding 0 pixels, color white, and padding 2%. So again, all of these would have a gray border. They're all like 18% width, and inside of each one of these left, middle, right, and other tags we have a button and we have a paragraph. A button tag with a bunch of stuff on it and a paragraph tag, and they're both styled. So that ends, the wrapper ends the body, ends the HTML, and that is going to conclude this video, which basically just introduced the styles to this particular browser display. So I'm going to stop this video here, and then I'm going to make another one that's going to go over the JavaScript portion. So I'm not going to need the style anymore, so I can get rid of this, and I can open this up. Actually, since there's only two here, I can just show window side by side, but I want this one on the left, so I'll highlight this code and then click show window side by side because I want my code on the left and the output on the right.